Yeah, welcome to the last game of the day. It's game number 50, where the under-19 Canadian team is going to take on the under-19 Great Britain team. And I'm just getting myself into the booth with my fellow commentator, Stuart Parkinson. Stuart, welcome again. Looks like we've got the eight Canadian girls up against the full side of the Great Britain side.
Yeah, it looks like there's a numerical advantage in this game in favour of the GB ladies here, Dave, as you just said. But I'm sure the Canadians will bring the contest to the GB ladies in this, the last game in Court 2 on day 2 of the 4th CMAS Age Group World Championships. What a great day we've had so far.
Yeah, so far, and we're going to end it in an under-19s match, and it's really great to see all these players out here putting in their effort, and kudos to the Canadian under-19s with Coach Perry, and the eight Canadian girls are here ready to go with about 20 seconds left to go in the game. And I'm looking forward to this one.
All the players pretty well.
It is a royal Commonwealth rivalry at the highest level.
Yeah, that's right, and I'm sure these guys, these ladies are going to leave nothing out of the pool in this contest.
And, so it's always fun.
I know both of these teams are jostling for the best position they can possibly have at the end of day 2, so they can springboard into day 3. As we see the game kick off underway there, bit of a melee in the centre of the pool as the play gets driven out to that far wall, Dave.
Yeah, it looks like, if I'm correct, it looks like it's Great Britain's constantly straight away putting pressure on the Canadian girls. The Great Britain are in dark, screening from left to right, and the Canadians are in their white uniform, defending against the goal tray right now, and it's in that far corner, Stuart.
Yeah, it looks like the buzzer's gone, and I'm unsure if the puck has ended up in the tray, but the refs have called a chopping foul against the Canadians. They'll push those Canadians back right in front of their tray, and the GB ladies will get an advantage puck and an opportunity to score the first goal of this game here, Dave.
Yeah, and it's instant pressure onto the Canadian backline. Let's see how they'll go, Stuart. And here comes the flick. It was a nice flick in through, and there it goes. A lovely play.
Yeah, unfortunately for the Canadian ladies there, the GB girls just managed to get a really nice flick off the first pass of that advantage puck. And then they just did not have good body position to stop that GB attacker from putting that puck in the tray there, Dave.
Yeah, and it was a little excellent, nice little flick over the Canadian girls who weren't really down, ready for it, and looked like number 3, Nina Matthews, had put that in for the GB, and we're ready to go, and the Canadians have to respond back to that and get out and get that puck again.
Yeah, that's right. The Canadians winning this puck, and you're correct. Nia Matthews did score that goal for the GB ladies, as the GB attackers have another quality drive down the right-hand side of the court, right underneath the Canadian sub-bench there, and then change the angle and have a 45 back into the centre channel, right onto the goal tray of the Canadians. The Canadians, I think, may not have been able to stop that goal from going in, as the refs confirm another goal for number 9, Abby Calvert, puts the second goal in for the GB team here, and a quality set of attacking moves there by the GB ladies, Dave.
Yeah, Stuart, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think this Canadians are playing with 8. They're actually playing with 7. I heard rumors that one of their players is down with a bit of the flu that's going around Hobart. It is cold here, but it is flu season. So coming from the Canadian summer in here, I don't think she survives really well. So they're actually down one more player. So that's a hard ask to play against a full side of 10 for 15 minutes. And I think this is their second game of the day, Stuart.
Yeah, that's right. They are playing with 7. You are correct there, Dave. And you can see that when we have the sub-bench view on the screen. There's only one player in the Canadian sub-bench, so 6 in the water, 1 in the bench. And I did hear a Canadian, though, today tell me that the Tasmanian winter was like the Canadian summer. So I'm not sure if we could say that the Canadian ladies have got a cold because of how cold it is here in Tasmania. It does obviously have to do with perspective, as the Canadians put some much-needed pressure on the GB defence and drive that puck all the way down to the attacking left-hand corner there, Dave.
Yeah, it's good to see. They're actually putting some pressure on that back line. Let's see how well they the Great Britain team respond to that. But the Canadians are relentless in actually getting their rotations working well, trying to drive it, working together. But what we're seeing is the GB's trying to make some runs, but we got another call called by the referee, a bit of a chopping, and I think that is going against the Canadians. The GB has lost the advantage, and they'll get the puck back with 11 minutes gone. It's 2-0 for the Great Britons in the first half of the under women's 19 round robin game.
Yeah, that's right. A GB advantage puck as they take this puck and basically drive it straight at the Canadian defence, right down that near wall. You can see the GB player just working real hard. She's got her legs going and driving that puck as far as she can down the wall. Sort of dug her shoulder in there and basically tried to gain advantage. The Canadian defence was up to the challenge though as the buzzer goes, and the referees are calling a foul and giving the puck, by the looks of it, to the advantage of the Canadians. Gave a GB player a warning there, so the Canadians will get another advantage puck, sort of kind of in the middle of the pool, just on the attacking half side for the Canadians there, Dave.
Yeah, I wasn't sure whether that was a team warning and everyone would have saw the thumb being extended out in an action the referees used to give a direct warning. Obviously not all countries speak, and we got snorkels in our mouths, so that action signifies a warning. Stuart, you saw it giving to an individual player. I wasn't sure on the number, but the play is resumed, and I think this is what the Canadians want to do, is actually play in a very small channel of play, given the number of players, so they don't have to take advantage of the width of the pool. And it looks like the Great Britons are very happy to play in that way, Stuart.
Yeah, well, they're certainly not trying to take it out of there at the moment, Dave. And I think the Canadians, I know that a lot of the Canadian men's players are starting to play passages, to play at least in a box and just sort of not even try and take it off the wall once they get it there. I mean, it's up to obviously the individual teams to decide on what kind of strategy they want to employ. But you can see how the Canadian ladies, they're not really trying to take it off the wall much at all, as the GB ladies drive that puck down the wall, get a bit of advantage, go along that back wall and really put a lot of pressure on the Canadian ladies. And you can see that puck has ended up in the tray. And the referees confirmed that is in fact a goal. Number 3 for GB, Nia Matthews, again scoring her second goal of the match there, Dave.
Yeah, look at if you could draw an L shape in the pool, I think this is sort of how it happens. It was pushed down the right-hand side of the wall, back to the back wall, and then driven back into it. It popped up a little bit and then came in front of Nina, and she wasted no time putting it away for her second goal tonight.
Yeah, that's right. As the kickoff occurs again, you can see the Canadians are going to win this strike this time as they just arrive in front of the GB centre. GB ladies sort of bottle that puck up in the centre as they all kind of hit the puck and then come to the surface. No team getting a clear advantage there off the strike. The refs have called an infringement, and it's going to be against the Canadians this time. As you can see, one of the Canadians swimming back to the sub bench. Unfortunately, that's the only sub that they're able to take, one sub at a time, only playing with 7. We need to remember that this Canadian team is playing with 3 less players than the opposing GB team. So these ladies are definitely putting in the hard yards and having to operate at a much higher level of intensity to even compete with this GB team there, Dave.
Yeah, and look, I've seen both teams on the deck. They look equally as fit. It will come down to who can sustain this for the longest. Obviously, the Canadians are used to playing this style because they came to the tournament with 8 players, so they knew full well that they were actually going to be playing 2 players down. They probably didn't count on one of the other players falling ill to the flu, but they must be well rehearsed and well trained to maintain this level of game at this level. And again, they're taking it to the GBs. It may be a 3-0 in the score, but I tell you what, the GBs aren't having it their own way.
No, that's very true, and kudos to the Canadian ladies for dictating the play as much as they are, as the GB girls decide to take it across to the other side of the pool on a real square, like laterally swum switch type play by their inside forward, their left forward. The Canadians are up to the challenge of that switch though, and they basically just meet the GB girls there on that far side wall, and you can see how the players are all rotating. I think the GB ladies might have been trying to establish a little bit of attacking momentum, but the Canadian ladies this time around have done the opposite to the GB girls and have basically pushed the puck further into their attacking half. But again, they're not trying to take it out of that box that much. They're certainly not trying to bring it back into the centre channel. And unfortunately, the GB girls have, although they're getting driven back into their defensive corner, they're just not seeming to be put under that much pressure at the moment, Dave.
No, and you're right there, Stuart. They're certainly not initiating the width of the pool. They're keeping it where they can keep their numbers together, and they don't have to expel a great deal of energy, because moving it across the pool, as you well know, Stuart, is very taxing, and that's it's training. So with the 7 players, they're playing very smart hockey that fits within the number of players they have. I think that GB's initiated most movement of the puck. I'd expect to see, if I was coaching them, which I'm not, and Coach Joe in there is probably trying to get them to do that more, maybe tire the Canadians quicker.
Yeah, that's right. Well, whatever they're doing, hats off to the Canadian girls for keeping it 3-0 against a numerically advantaged GB team, as the GB girls again have a proper drive against the Canadian defence. The Canadians in that case just managed to keep the puck out of the tray and take it out to right underneath their sub bench. So maybe the Canadians might be able to get one fresh player back into the water on this sub, as it's a very nice drive there by the Canadian winger on the left-hand side there, Dave.
Yeah, and both those players swimming with the nage fins on there, having to rotate them on. I think that'll probably go in their advantage to not expending a lot of energy. Using the nage fins, they might not generate as much power on the long term, but certainly off the mark they are sort of quick in the rotation, but then that might not tax their legs out. So that's a very smart view for some of their players.
Yeah, it's interesting to see just how many players in there are using those Najade fins as the GB ladies really push the attack onto the Canadians. A nice curl right on the corner of the tray by the GB attackers. Back to another GB lady, as the puck, I think, has ended up in the tray or close to it. But unfortunately, I think that the referee has decided that it's an infringement against GB again, right in the deep attack for their team. And number 8 for the GB girls, Vicky Crawford, is going to spend at least a minute in the sin bin, as you can see there, as she sort of does the penguin walk back to the seat there, Dave, in the sin bin.
Yeah, and again, the nage fins seemed to help. She slid quite quickly on those in her backward moonwalk to get to the bench. I must say, we're never looked that graceful when we're walking across the pool deck. There we go. But it looks like we got another call up on the play, and gloving's the call, and the play had advanced right back, and I think the GB probably put it in the goal, but unfortunately it's being called all the way back to the middle of the pool, Stuart, where they will have to be pushed back another 3 meters, and the Canadians have the thing. But it looks like the Canadians have also called the timeout. Probably a smart time on this court, given that they're well and truly past halfway. So they might get another minute breather to go in their help to sustain the next 4 minutes left in this half, Stuart.
Yeah, that's right. It is a timeout at the moment, Dave, and I'm sure the Canadians will be happy with that. They have got the advantage puck once this timeout has finished, and the GB girls are 1 player down. So at the moment, the Canadian ladies, as soon as this play continues, they are going to actually have the numerical advantage in the court with the 6 players that are in there versus 5 of the GB ladies. It's going to be interesting to see if they actually try and sort of do something different with the puck, as opposed to just drive that puck straight through the GB structure time and time again there, Dave. Yeah,
look, the coach was giving them some clear instructions there, and let's see if it works out. He might have seen something that we're not seeing up here, but I agree with you, Stuart. They have to do something different, but here they go.
Yeah, so they're setting up in a classic 2-3-1 structure there, as the pivot for the Canadians takes that free puck with her 2 forwards sitting in front. They are trying to go down that wall again, but maybe that's just because they feel more comfortable there. They do have a good structure around the puck as the GB girls try and counter-attack down that same way. Bit of rock and roll from the Canadian pivot there, just trying to create some space. Unfortunately, she gets tagged by a few too many GB girls as the buzzer goes, and the refs have seen another infringement in here, Dave.
Yeah, that's looked like number 2, Loma Dickinson from the Great Britain team almost got away from it, but I think prior to that there was an infringement called. The referees saw, and the Brits have to be pushed back, and the Canadians taken again. They're taking 2 out front, pivot with 4 players in support back, but the Brits are clearing it wide to the pool, and we got a quick break with a number of players going through, but the Canadians have quickly shut that down. But they're now back deep in their defensive end, somewhere where they don't want to be, even with a player up. No, it looks like I'm afraid to say, but both players are back in the pool, so we're all at six players each, Stuart.
Yeah, and I think that really quick swim away that the GB ladies had then was generated by that fresh player coming back in off the sub bench for the GB girls. She basically just got a piece of that puck, realised she had a lung full of air, and just had a proper crack at the Canadian defence. So in that case, the Canadian defence was up to the challenge, but it looks like the puck has been put back in the goals by the GB ladies. The refs have confirmed that that's the 4th goal for the GB girls. So goal number 4, 4-0, GB leading Canada in what has actually been in this first half with basically 2.5 minutes to go, Dave. A pretty close contest so far.
Yeah, look, the score doesn't reflect what's been going on in the pool. It's been at either end. The only difference I can see is that the Great Britons have capitalized on the opportunity when it presented themselves, when a mistake was made by the Canadian defence, and that's why they're 4 up, Stuart.
Yeah, so unfortunately for the Canadians, they had the control of the play on that free puck over here in the near side part of the court, right near the camera. And I don't know if the guys at home realised, but they tried a bit of an attacking 45 move back into the centre of the court. It didn't work for them. The GB girls were all over them, and then it kind of got driven out to that far side wall. And then that's when that player came in off the sin bin and went for that big run down the far side court. And essentially that drive ended up being, sort of resulting in that goal being scored as the GB girls have a big breakaway and they put that puck in the tin again. It's going to be interesting to see if the refs have seen something infringed in that case, Dave.
Now the refs are called it a goal for number 3, Nina Matthews. She went on a bit of a hunting trip there and gobbled up that puck into her things and drove it from about halfway into the Canadian zone and drove it straight to the puck when the defense was caught napping a bit square because they were trying to make a bit of a press into the middle of the pool, and Nina swam away from them and put it in there, Stuart. And we're back in the game. It's now 5-0 with 1 minute left to play in the first half, and the game's back on. And the Brits again, it's gone over to the far side, and the Canadians have responded off the strike. They do it quite well off the strike to control the puck into where they want to feel comfortable in. But it looks like in this first half, the Great Britons are 5 goals up.
Yeah, they definitely are 5 up with 43 seconds to go in this first half with, as you said, Dave, a really strong passage of play ending up in Nia going for a big swim straight down the centre of the pool with no answers coming from the Canadian defence, and she just put that puck all the way into the tray after a big, impressive swim from her. So the 5th goal goes to Nia, and the Canadians are going to see this half out probably 5-0 down to the GB team. They're basically contesting that puck without much lateral movement going on right underneath the chief ref's area. And as we count down with 9 seconds to go, it's going to be interesting to see if the Canadian girls can come up with anything special in the second half, Dave.
Yeah, look, I would like to have Mike down there in the Canadian box. I can see the girls are all sucking a bit of air. So halftime's been called. See what the Canadian coach, Pierre Lacrosse, is what he'll have to say for the girls. I think it's been a solid effort, but again, I think the JBs are just trying to wear them out and then look for that opportunity. The Canadian make a mistake, and by jeepers, the Great Britons go down and put it in. And we saw a classic swim by Nina Matthews. She got 2 goals, I think, in this half, and one of them was simply a bit of a hunting trip, and the Canadian dropped the puck, and she picked it up and swam for the goal. Yeah, we'll see what happens in the bench there. All the GB girls are in there with their little rubber duck.
Yeah, that's right. They do have a good floaty going on there, carrying all their water bottles. I think that might even be an inflatable elephant. It looks like there's a bit of a trunk going on at the front there, and whatever it is, it definitely looks like it's got a high capacity for water bottles, and it's certainly taken up a lot of real estate in their little sub bench there. So hats off. There you go. It is an elephant, and it's a good close-up of that thing, and it does look like they've got a high capacity of water bottles in there, and maybe we might even see one of the GB ladies just cruising around in that thing when they're having a little bit of a rest in the sub bench later on, Dave.
Yeah, it's taking up so much room. The coach can't even get in the box to have a discussion with his girls. I can see him, Joe, having a conversation with them and making sure that he can actually talk to them. But he's struggling with Mr. Elephant in a way. We go over to the Canadian bench. They're all in there. He's directing traffic down there, Pierre, and making sure the girls understand what they're going. Let's concentrate on keeping our numbers straight. And I'm sure he's trying to get the girls to lift, to sort of come out in the second half to try to whittle down that 5-0 advance by the Great Britain team, Stuart.
Yeah, well, I can see one omission that the Canadians definitely could work on that might give them a much better game plan. They could get a much more impressive water bottle holder than what they've got at the moment. Because, I mean, the GB ladies, they're definitely rocking that inflatable elephant, and I think it's giving them a lot of confidence that the Canadians could feed off. They could quite happily just go to one of the toy stores here in Hobart, something that's provided locally, and just get something similar, as the coach has a really close-up chat to one of his players and just trying to instill some confidence in his player, I'm sure, to try and get her to perform some tasks and maybe at a level that he knows that she can. A little bit of self-belief goes a long way in this game. And, I'd like to see that Canadian team with perhaps like an inflatable octopus or maybe even a tuna in there, Dave. It'd be something that'd be impressive.
Yeah, I think it's pretty boring, the old shopping basket with a bit of floaties on there. I'm with you, Stuart. I think, and the coach, as you said, was having a really close-up conversation with Madison Schmidt, the vice captain, trying to get her focused and saying, "Come on, it's time to play. This is your half. Come on, ladies, get up there." And we're underway. Barring the elephant is tucked nicely away back in the bench and the shopping trolley for the Canadians, and we got a 2-minute penalty on instantaneously, and I'm not sure who's swimming out there, but it looks like a GB lady. Yes, it is. We'll try to get the number for you. Unfortunately, number 3, Nina Matthews, the goal scorer and vice captain, has to sit down for 2 minutes. She's got to do the bit of walk of shame because she actually swam to the wrong sin bin, Stuart.
Yeah, well, lucky she had those Najade fins on, mate, so she could do the backwards penguin walk over to the seat that she was supposed to be sitting in. And for any of those athletes out there, as the GB guys driving to the Canadian defence and over to the far wall, if you're thinking about getting the Najade fins, she doesn't have the Najade fins. She was doing a much more awkward penguin walk over to her seat. So my apologies for my shameless plug for one of our major sponsors here at this tournament, which obviously the Najade fins are, as the referees have pulled up another infringement this time. It looks like it's going to go against the Canadians, as number 5 for the Canadian team, Emmy Nadu, has to spend some time in the sin bin for something that the referees didn't like there, Dave.
Yeah, no, she was much more elegant with her nage fins, getting out and slipping quietly into the chair. Didn't have to drag her brias across the rough deck, and it's a sort of anti-slip deck, so it does rub a bit, but she was quite graceful. And they're now even Stevens here at 5-on-5, and the Brits are pressuring in front of the Canadian goal.
A big drive there from the British ladies, and it looks to me like they've put it in the tin. Unfortunately, the Canadian defence just couldn't hold them out, unless the referees have seen something untoward occur with that drive at the tray. It's going to end up in a goal as the British ladies look to be confidently swimming back to the starting position on that back wall and doing a couple of subs. So I think we can confidently say, as the score tally suggests, that it's 6 now to the GB under 19 ladies with 0 to the Canadians there, Dave.
Yeah, and again, the Brits, that was a pretty quick sub there, but they are allowed on the subbing to have free-flowing subbing, but she's done the right thing. She did miss the start, so she swam and touched the boom so that she can be partake in it without causing any disadvantage to her team. Good on her for her smart thinking and response.
Yeah, that's right. So we're 2.5 minutes into this second half now, Canadian versus GB contest here, and the GB girls asserting their dominance on this game thus far, with the referees playing advantage for something that they've seen underwater. I think the buzzer has gone, though, and a bit of obstruction called against the GB girls, as the Canadians will get the advantage here. The Canadians are doing a very admirable job of just providing, a very good game, or playing a very good game, I should say, and sticking to their game plan. They're obviously not liking to bring that puck out into any kind of clear space here, Dave. As I say that, though, the Canadians have gone for a very slow swim over to their sub-bench side, right into the space.
Yeah, that I think they must have heard you, Stuart, and they're listening closely to your advice, and they just followed suit. Now, I think they were just trying to get it over to the sub-bench so they can get that fresh player in there, because they're all back to full strength, and we see the Canadians sort of number 12. Number 12, Madeline Stephen, who the captain of the team, taking the puck in the corner to sort of try to relieve some of the pressure from the Great Britain. But Great Britain A bit of a double kick from number player. Didn't see her. She was wearing those nage fins. She made a straight drive into the goal tray and popped it in. And I'm looking at it. It looks like a number 12, which is Madeline Steves, the captain, has taken the score. Pearl Winters, sorry, my bad. I was looking at the Canadian side, Stuart. Thank you for that. Pearl Winter popped it in the 7th goal for Great Britain, Stuart. The Canadians have no answer for this constant onslaught by the Great Britain women.
No, they certainly don't at this stage. I think it was a good idea for the Canadian ladies to bring it over to their sub-bench side, but unfortunately the GB attack was up to the task of sort of chasing that switch down and applying the pressure from the other side of the pool. Well done for the Canadian ladies to try and mix it up and get a fresh player in the water. It must be very hard with only 7 players to sort of get in a position where the 6 players in the water could actually get one of them swapped with the one waiting for them in the bench there, Dave.
Yeah, I haven't really noticed any structure to the swapping of the players. It looks like they're actually just rolling through. Whoever's tired gets out and does their bit. We've got a timeout called for. Looks like the Great Britain calling a timeout, but I haven't noticed any. It doesn't seem to be a 1-for-1 subbing going on or individual subbing, but it's not the same person sitting on the bench. So I think they're rolling through and making sure everyone gets at least a bit of a breather there, Stuart.
Yeah, that's right. As this timeout obviously plays its course, and the GB coach has decided that his girls needed a little bit of a pep talk. Only the 6 ones in the water have decided to have that pep talk, and the 4 ladies in the sub bench, as you can see there, are just hanging out with their little blow-up elephant, and obviously don't need to go in there for the nuggets of gold the coach has got to say to the players in the water. All 7 Canadians are in there in a little corral listening to what their coach has to say. 7-0 with 7 players versus 10. I mean, really, it's a pretty respectable scoreline at the moment, and I must admit that the Canadian girls are doing a really good job of taking this contest to the GB ladies here, Dave.
Yeah, I did notice, Stuart, that the Great Britain coach, Joe, had a quick word to the girls before he actually swam out there, or she actually swam out there to talk to the Great Britain ladies, sort of to calm them down, to sort of play within themselves and, just play some smart hockey and don't go absolutely bananas here because they got a 7-0 lead. But hopefully they won't shut completely down. That'll open the door for the Canadians, which they're probably hoping for.
Yeah, that's right. As the Canadians string together a couple of really nice little inside-out moves and passes. Unfortunately, their right-hand wing just didn't see where her halfback had passed the puck there, and the GB ladies were onto that puck pretty quick as they drove that momentum all the way down that near side wall to the corner, as you can see there. GB bathers all on the bottom. Canadians sort of encapsulating the puck, but unfortunately they don't have enough players behind the puck in between the corner of the tray and the goal at the moment, Dave.
Yeah, there was a nice roll off there to protect the puck back towards the wall, so you actually pulled the puck away from the attacking Great Britons. But look, the Great Britons are relentless, and I'm afraid the numbers are just overwhelming them. And I can't see much about the goal tray because that referee is sitting right in the middle of the right in the middle of the camera space. But I think it's just been popped into the goal tray, Stuart.
Yeah, well, all the players are coming to the surface, and it'd be interesting to see what the referees are saying here. As obviously we're getting a close-up of the Canadian ladies. It doesn't look like it is a goal. I think it's going to be a Canadian advantage puck in their deep defence as the GB ladies swim back to the referee line that's been set up there. So a bit of a reprieve for the Canadian ladies, and they'll get another setup as they take that puck over the sub-bench side there, Dave.
Yeah, they're looking to capitalise on that one sub they have and rotate it. But if they can make anything happen, this is the side that they're going to have their strength on. If they're on the far side, it's hard. And so, but it looks like, the Canadians have stopped that advanced play by the Great Britons. I didn't catch the number of that Canadian player, but she was swimming very strong in there, and she swam straight back into her position relentlessly. She's back down there and in her position to defend again against the drive by the Great Britons. And once again, the referee sitting right in the camera line. We did talk to the referees about moving at least a meter half off there because the cameras are there so we can see what happened. But this time it looks like it's a goal, Stuart.
Yeah, I think the referees have confirmed that it is a goal for the GB ladies, and they are certainly swimming confidently back to their starting positions with 8 minutes to go on the clock in this second half. The Canadians won't be happy with letting another goal in. Interestingly, their structure only allowed them there to have 2 players in between the puck and the defensive tray, which is unfortunate because it's basically a number of players that would require a really fast rotation to get any kind of defensive strength out of that 2-player deep defense there, Dave.
Yeah, no, Stuart, I have a tendency to agree with you. I've seen a lot of defensive teams play, and at a minimum 3 is what you need to actually get enough rotations, even in a 2-meter pool where it's not as deep as 3 meters. But that timing has to be 3 players at the back line. If you're doing 2 and you're defending against an attack like the Brits are having, or a New Zealand attack where they have 3 or 4 players in, you're not going to rotate fast enough or have the ability to stay down there. You get drawn out, and the numbers game happens. As you well know, I'm a big numbers man, and if you don't have the numbers back there, you ain't going to stop any goals from going in.
That's true, my friend. You are a numbers man, and you are correct in my opinion as well. I mean, even if the 2-3-1 structure of the Canadians doesn't normally allow them to have more than 2 behind or in between the puck and the tray, I think that as the GB ladies were obviously trying to attack down that back wall, they probably could have afforded to lose that sort of floater position that was sitting out there off the goal tray and get them back into that 3-way rotation to give them a little bit more strength. As you can see, the British ladies just sort of asking the Canadians a lot of attacking questions just right underneath their sub-bench. At the moment, the Canadians are doing a good job of basically just sort of keeping them out and stopping that attacking pressure from sort of affecting their structure too negatively. But really, as you said before, it turns into a numbers game. And as you can see here, the buzzer's gone, but the GB ladies just sort of getting a little bit of a numbers advantage on the bottom. They're both playing very similar kind of contests in that space on that near wall there, Dave.
Yeah, Tilly Roy there, number 11, was rotating well in her position, and they were doing it quite well. But as you say, you get worn down, and once it gets worn down, the timing gets left a little behind, and you get a little bit behind. As you can see, the Great Britain, the timing of the Canadian defence got a little bit shallow, a bit late, and that put a bit more pressure on that single cover defense there, and numbers on the cover defense. It's just not a happy sight for that lone back there, as you well know, Stuart.
Yeah, that's right. As we can see, the GB ladies again trying to attack this near wall. The Canadian defence doing a good job of just holding it up there and just sort of slowing down the play to give themselves enough time to get some numbers around the puck. A little chip flick inside to a player waiting, and a nice little swim from the Canadians as they try and assert some kind of attacking pressure onto the GB defence. They're right underneath the GB sub-bench, which is probably not where the Canadian ladies want to be. It's kind of a vulnerable position to sort of attack from as they desperately try and stop this counter-attack happening with the GB ladies there, Dave.
Yeah, I certainly want to be underneath that bench, because that means that 4 of the GB ladies can get out, and we get 4 fresh players attacking my 6 players that have been playing a majority of this game. Well, they've all been playing the majority of the game, and no matter what strategy is, Stuart, we got 4 minutes left. These ladies got to be absolutely exhausted. Now there's Tilly Roy again. I've seen her in making lots of efforts. She must be very fit, because she's actually down there constantly in her rotation and sticking it to the Great Britons, who are the Canadians are holding up in that end, Stuart.
They've had a passage of play the last 3 or 4 minutes, Dave, where they've really put some good pressure on the GB defence as the buzzer goes, and the refs have obviously seen another infringement, chopping against the GB ladies this time, an advantage puck for the Canadian ladies. And I'll tell you what, the last 4 or 5 minutes of this game, the Canadian ladies have really picked up their game and have really started to assert a lot more sort of forward-moving pressure on the GB ladies' structure. So I think it's going to be interesting to see if the Canadians can put one in the tin in this last 4 minutes here, Dave.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that, well, here we go. The Brits, there's 3-on-1 here, and no, it's been shepherded off and screened into the wall, and so the Canadians can slow it up and help their defense get back. But you're right, Stuart. I thought the Brits just sort of got a bit passé about that and went to sleep, but they must have heard me talking and woke straight up, because here they go. They got another drive at the goal, and the Canadian defender couldn't recycle back. And once again, I think that puck's destined is actually going to be in the bottom of the tray.
Yeah, there's a lot of blue bathers down there and not too many white ones, as the referees put their hands up with the typical fingers in the air indicating a goal, as they confirm that it is another goal for the GB team. Number 5, Emily McEwen. My apologies, Emily, for the mispronunciation there, but a good effort in scoring that 9th goal for the GB team with 3 minutes remaining in this quality game between the Canadian under-19 and the GB under-19 women's, and the second day here, last game of the day, Dave.
Yeah, the Canadian coach Pierre has just called a timeout to give this team a bit of a respite for the last 3 minutes, and hopefully they can pull something out. They were awful close there in the attacking end against Great Britain. It looked like Great Britain were going to fold under that pressure, but responded well as a group and drove it out as numbers and finished it off in numbers, as we saw that goal put in by about 3 or 4 different Great Britons. But it looked like Emily was the last one to touch the puck, so she's been awarded the goal.
Yeah, that's right. And again, those GB ladies just managing to turn the Canadian defence and basically just take that puck at the corner of the tray from the left-hand side attacking area of the court, straight at the corner of the tray, pretty much straight down the back wall. So the GB ladies really exposing a weakness in the Canadian defence on that back wall, especially when they apply constant pressure. So, as the game kicks off again with less than 3 minutes to go, I think that's definitely an area that the Canadian under-19 ladies can look to improve as they proceed through this competition there, Dave.
Yeah, it looks, you gotta hand it to them. They're playing within themselves because they are playing really shorthanded, and I mean shorthanded across the board. But they're playing their structure, and they got to sort of look to where those opportunities happen. And I think they are not capitalizing on it because when one goes, they're really all going to go. But at the moment, they're going in ones and twos, Stuart. And they're playing that box style, and they're keeping that pucks in that box. But it's only 2 at a time. You got that pivot playing in there, and it cleans up a lot of the next play down below. And we're actually sort of saying there's yeah, I'm being distracted by there's a lot of cheering going in the other cross. I think this is Australian versus South African game, and I'm not sure what's going on. But anyways, back here at our court where it looks like the GBs have trying to put another one in to take the score to 10-0. They're 9 ahead, but the Canadians once again are defending. And this time, Stuart, I think they actually hurt us in saying they're actually rotation. No, there's only 2 rotating in that back line, I'm afraid, Stuart.
Yeah, that's right. They probably, I mean, it's the curse of the referees, right? The moment we say something is the moment the team that we're talking about is basically going to change and do what we say on the mic that they're not doing. But as you can see there, that's GB lady swam straight down that back wall and really didn't have a contest as she flicked it past that Canadian defender and essentially just to a couple of GB ladies waiting to put that puck in the tin. As number 12, I think, for GB, Pearl Winter, finishes off that goal. So, case in point, exactly how that last play unfolded for the GB ladies. That's definitely an area that the Canadian team can look to improve on for the future games. My opinion, Dave.
Yeah, 1 minute less as the day 2 of the championships draw to a close. I think a lot of the teams after today, there's been some demonstration of some high-level hockey yet again at the Aquatic Centre here in Hobart. And you're right, Stuart. I think the Canadians will go back with some real positive things from this game, but they also do have some number of things to work on. That said, I think the Great Britons didn't have it all their way. I mean, the score reflects a 10-0 game, but the Canadians did hold them back out a bit. But hand it to the Great Britain team. They did put it on the back wall. They stick to their game plan and driving along the back wall and capitalize on the fact that the Canadians were a bit flat on the back wall.
Yeah, that's right. And I think too that credit to both of these teams for really playing this game all the way to the end. As you can see them all desperately trying to get some kind of advantage in that back corner there. And we've got to remember that these girls are all under 19s. It may be a lot of players' first time at a World Championships, and there's going to be a lot of lessons for both teams to take out of this. I'm very impressed with how the Canadian ladies have conducted themselves with a serious numerical disadvantage as full time is called there by the chief referee. Congratulations to the GB ladies for a 10-0 victory against the Canadian under-19 ladies there, Dave.
Yeah, another dominant display by the GBs. But look, the numbers on the board, Stuart, as we've seen in a number of games here, don't reflect what's actually going on under the water. I think you got to watch the whole game and see the Canadians had their opportunities. They weren't able to convert it. They defended as best they could, but simply the numbers at the end of the day overwhelmed the Canadians, and they were left a 10-0 deficit. But tomorrow's another day, Stuart.
Yeah, that's right, it is. And this competition definitely would not be what it is now if we don't thank our sponsors here. So I'd like to thank Vertex Sports Equipment for providing all of our officials and volunteers with all the beautiful uniforms that you can see them sporting around the pool. I'd also like to thank Wing & Co. for the catering requirements that they've provided this tournament. It's been delicious food. I can personally attest to that for the officials, volunteers and commentators. Poco people who have made all the logos and designs. A particularly special shout out to Lee Marie Stinson, who did the logo for this tournament. The eels, the green and gold eels wrapping around the underwater hockey sticks have been amazing. As Dave goes outside to try and just have a chat to a couple of these players from Court 2, just to get the players' point of view. Najade Fins, like we've been plugging all game, they're a major sponsor and the fins are great. So if you haven't tried them already, please get yourselves onto the web or to the Najade store or one of their resellers to try out those fins. They're great travel fins and great high-performance fins for any kind of speed swimming that you want to do. 6 Agua underwater hockey equipment, amazing gloves and fins and other accessories for underwater hockey, like underwater hockey bags. Lots of really good design and lots of amazing sticks to be used in the great sport of underwater hockey. So you can jump on their Facebook page, 6L Agua Facebook page, or onto their website. And lastly, but certainly not least, Shark Underwater Hockey Equipment that makes some amazing gloves, particularly the gloves that have been supplied this time around for the referees. I know they made a lot of the gloves for the players at this tournament as well, so please get amongst it and support the sponsors that have made this competition what it is today. And obviously our major sponsor, Tasmanian State Government, Tourism Tasmania, Events Tasmania, as well as the City of Hobart. That's it from me, and that's day 2 drawn to a close here. I know there'll be a Glory Days Moments Day 2 wrap-up prior to this stream finishing today, so please hang around for that. And thank you again for all your support out there around the world.
How are you going?
If you do want to
you're
make
number
a
3 for the
donation,
Canadians.
please get on the website.
Say hello to your hometown.
Quebec City.
You're in Quebec City, home of the Senior Worlds. You looking forward to that one?
Yeah.
Yep. I know you went down to the Great Britain's game, but I must say in the booth when we were calling the game, well done for playing with 7 players. That must be hard for you guys.
Yeah, it's very difficult. We have a lot of injury, and we have a person who is sick. So it's very difficult, but we keep trying. And
do you want to say something in Quebec ball to your hometown? But by all means, please do.
Allô maman, allô papa, je vous aime fort, puis c'est ça là.
Yeah. I'm sorry for the loss, but kudos to you girls out there, and pass my congratulations on them. They actually fought hard against the score didn't reflect. You guys played really well. Congratulations and good luck for the rest of the tournament. Yeah, I'm joined now by number 9 from the Great Britain team. A dominant display against the Canadians. First, introduce yourself and tell everyone at home who you are.
Hello, my name's Abby Calvert and I play for Great Britain and I'm from Leeds.
Oh, welcome, Abby, and you're enjoying yourself so much in Hobart?
Yes, I'm really enjoying myself. It's a great experience over here.
Yeah, and the game against the Canadians, it seemed to be about one side. Was it your strategy to continue to play your game, which was very dominant along the wall, and drive it into the goal tray?
Yes, my coach told us to keep dominant and to control the game, to keep it up the wall and just drive it to the middle and hopefully get those goals in.
Yeah, you certainly were supporting each other on the play, and I think you wore the Canadians out, unfortunately, today. But well done in your game today, and best of luck for the rest of the tournament.
Thank you so much.
Any hellos to anyone at home?
Hello, Batley squad. I'm doing you proud, and I hope I am.
Yeah, not a promise. Well done today, and best of luck for the rest of the tournament.